Hello everybody, Ron aka Daddy Geek here with another Disney Infinity 2.0 toy box tutorial. Now buckle in for this one because this one is a little bit more advanced and it also might take a little bit longer than our standard tutorial because we are going to be going over money management, or another way we could say it is making economy in your level. By default you kill an enemy, you defeat an enemy, they drop sparks. Well, we can change that. We can actually, inside of our toy boxes, we can change it so the enemies drop different type of items, and we can control which enemies drop which items. We can also control the chance that they have to drop those items, and then we can use those items in turn to allow the player to purchase other items, to use those items in the world. So we can kind of make we can kind of be pretty creative here and make it so that the player has kind of like this almost toy box, not toy box, duh, we are in a toy box, the sandbox type of feel. So you can get pretty creative in your games. All right, so here's the deal here. I've already set up quite a few toys, just because I'm not sure how long this video is going to take, and I'm not going to repeat the stuff that I've already done. And that's not because I'm trying to be lazy. It's just because I'm trying to save time. So the things like the trigger areas, cameras, NPCs, and text creators are already set. They're already done. They're already ready to go. All the logic connections are made. So we can easily focus on the money and economy aspect of the tutorial. And what we have set up here is the idea is Mr. Toad's here, and the bridge is out between this piece of land and his house, and he wants us to repair the bridge. Now the workers, our dwarves over here, are on strike. Why they're on strike, who knows, but they're on strike. And Mr. Toad will inform us that since they won't do the work, maybe we can go buy the bridge pieces from them. So in order to buy the bridge pieces from them, we're going to need to go defeat some enemies, grab some coins or whatever we set up as economy, buy the bridge pieces, and then place the bridge pieces. Now, in order to set up our economy, we're going to need a couple toys here. And I have 3 toys set up here, and we have 1 over there behind Dopey. The first toy we're going to need is this piggy bank here, and this is called the Money Manager. This is where everything begins. And the reason why I say everything begins, because this is where you set up what kind of economy is going to be used in your game. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to Properties. You're going to see you have 2 options, money type and starting amount. Now, usually when you bring this up by default, it starts with hexagon token, but you can click that and you can change that. And we have everything from balloons, flowers, gems, gold coins, hexagon tokens, and power particles. And power particles are your typical sparks, your particles. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to set it up for gold coins. So we're going to change the economy from sparks to gold coins, but we still have to do many more steps before we get there. But this is the toy that basically tells all the other toys what kind of economy we're using. Whether it would have been the balloons, in this case we're going to go with the gold coins. The next thing that we look at here is called starting amount. This is how much the player will start with when this toy becomes activated. Just by dropping these toys, the money management toys, into the game, they're not active by default. You have to make them active, either by using a switch, some type of trigger, or we could even use a level starter. So when the level first loads, all the money management automatically kicks in. So when you set the starting amount, you need to keep a couple things in mind. One, how much you plan on making the player earn in order to buy whatever items it is that you want them to buy. And also the second thing you need to keep in mind is that while you can go all the way up to, I believe it's 1,000 coins. Yeah, you can go all the way up to 1,000 coins. You can only go in increments of 10. So it's not like you can say, oh, I just want the player to start with 1 gold coin and then they have to earn more. You got to start with either 0 or 10 and then all the way up to, I think it's, like I said, I think it's 1,000. We're going to go just 10 here to give Donald a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a start. And then that's it. Now, the reason why I say you have to be careful with how much money you start the player with and how much money you charge them to buy items from the store is enemies will only drop 1 coin or whatever you use in its currency, balloons, flowers, whatever. They'll only drop 1. That's it. So when you defeat an enemy, they're only going to drop 1. You can't make them drop more than 1. So if you're telling the player that they need to collect 50 coins to buy an item, they're going to need to find a way to get 50 coins, whether it be defeating an enemy, getting it from a chest, however you're going to make it happen. So keep that in mind. You don't want to frustrate the player by making them grind several dozen enemies in order just to buy one item. So keep that in mind. Alright, so the next toy we're going to use is called the Loot Drop Manager. Now this is the toy we're going to use to tell the game which enemies drop which type of currency. So we're going to go down here, and first thing we're going to look at is properties real fast. There's only one thing for properties, and that's called auto collect. You can turn this on or off, and it's just as the name implies, if you turn it on, when the player defeats an enemy, they automatically collect that coin. We're going to leave it off. I like the visual aesthetics of the coin dropping and you actually having to walk over it. Personal preference. Now this is where things get interesting. This is called edit loot pools. A loot pool is nothing more than just a you can make 5 different groups. What you're using by a loot pool is you're telling the game, okay, these certain enemies will drop this certain item. So you can create 5 different groups, if you will. Now you can put multiple enemies in one group, but say if you loot pool 1, you want to just basic, small, little, easy enemies, and they just drop a coin. You could do that here. Loot pool 2, you can add a little bit harder enemies, and besides dropping coins, you can maybe have them drop some type of item they can use in the game that would make things a little bit easier, say a lightsaber. So we'll actually show you how that works. So we're going to do loot pool 1. Now the first option that comes up is enemies. So we're going to click enemies. You get the little plus sign. We're going to click that, and now you can decide from the enemies that you have unlocked which enemies you want to use here. So we're going to, since I already set up the enemy wave generator to spawn Beagle Boys, we're going to use Beagle Boys. I got this thing for DuckTales. I can't help it. So we're going to add the Beagle Boys. Now we're going to back, and you can see if you come over here, you can delete. Now we can add more enemies if we wanted to. So for example, we can add small frost giants as well, but we don't want to do that. We're just going to stick with the Beagle Boys for now. So we're going to delete them. We're going to go back, and now we're going to determine what kind of loot the Beagle Boys are going to drop. So we're going to add new, and of course, default is none. Now this next option says economy, and you can see you have the symbol of the piggy bank that we just used a few minutes ago, and you can see a coin, a token, a flower, etc. Once you click this, it just adds it. You don't need to tell it, okay, the economy is the gold coin. We already did that with the piggy bank. That's why they put this piggy bank symbol here. So once you just tell it, hey, the Beagle Boys are going to drop, whatever economy we're using, it automatically knows, okay, it's gold coins. Now you also can obviously come over here, and as you can see, you got all kinds of packs and tools as well as enemies that you can have other enemies drop. Let's see if it's down here. There's something I want to put in here if it's available. It might not be. Don't want to say what it is, because if I can't find it, then the surprise will be ruined. Let's see. Is it down here? It's not. I unlocked it. I don't know why it's not on here. Should be available. What I was looking for was the lightsaber. I unlocked it in 1.0, and I thought for sure I've already used it in 2.0, but apparently not. I don't see it. It should be available. I was really hoping it was. It'd be fun to just have a little lightsaber out there, but I don't see it. So instead, what we'll do is, how about a health capsule? Well, so the Beagle Boys can now drop either a economy or a health capsule. Now, this is where we set the chance that the enemy will drop a certain item. If you see down there, once we highlighted the item, in this case the economy, you see a new option came up on the bottom there. It says set weight. What that means is that's basically it's another way of saying we're going to set the percentage, the chance that the enemy will drop, in this case the economy or that health capsule next to us. If we click set weight, you see you have 100. You can go from 0 to 100. So right now there's a 100% chance that this will drop, which is the maximum that you can go. Now we can of course change that. As you can see, you can drop it down, but we'll leave it alone because we really want the player to have a good chance of getting a gold coin. Now if we go to health capsule, we see that that's at 100 as well. Now remember, enemies can only drop one item, so now you're basically giving the Beagle Boys the exact same chance of dropping a health capsule over a coin. So we're going to lower that. Let's drop that down. We're going to put it at, let's do 50%. We'll do 50. Set the weight at 50. I'm saying percentage because it's just, for me personally, that's an easier way to think of it. You can just use weight, or you can use whatever term in your head makes more sense. So we're going to set it to 50. So now there's double the chance of the enemies dropping a coin compared to the health capsule. So we set the weight, and that's it. We're done with that. We're done with that toy. So now the next toy we have here is the inventory manager. Now, even though this doesn't quite have a direct impact on an economy, we're going to use this because this is what you can use to set up on determine what your player has access to in their inventory when they bring up the editor. Obviously, right now, I'm creating the game. This is my own game. This is my own toy box. I bring up the editor. I can select every toy that I've unlocked. But we're going to set this up if someone else is playing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to set inventory. And just like the other toys that we've seen before, you get the little plus sign. You're going to click it. And as you can see, there's going to be a lot to choose from. You have different categories just like you have in your editor. We have racetrack pieces, decorations, townspeople, sidekicks. I mean, there is a lot to choose from. Blocks. Let's see what else we got here. Templates, townspeople, set pieces. I mean, the list goes on and on. Basically, whatever you can find in your editor, you can find down here. What we're going to do is we're just going to throw in some random toys here to allow the player to have, just so I can show you an example. Let's see here. I'm looking for something rather fun. Instant fun. That's fun. But let's see. How about we do some decorations here? Let's say we allow the player to have, oh, I don't know. What can we put on here? We'll give the player a chair. And let's see. We give the player, let's just give him one more thing. Why I picked the chair, there's no rhyme or reason. Let's just say a basic block here. Why don't we just use a basic block? And now we're going to back out. Okay, so this is what if the player brings up their inventory, this is what they have access to. Now, you notice that there's a 0 next to each one there. So what we can do is, kind of like how we set things up in the past, we can adjust the count of how much the player is going to start with. So right now, if we click adjust count, you could go infinite, all the way up to, I think it goes up to 100. It might go up higher than that. Yeah, it looks like it's going to go up to about 100. So we can, go anywhere from give the player an infinite amount of that item to nothing. So for the chairs, we're just going to do infinite. And as you can see, the little icon changed. There's no longer a 0 there. It's blank, which means it's infinite. You can do as much as you want. And for the blocks, we're actually going to just give the player, let's say, 1 block. So now when the player brings up their inventory, when everything gets activated, they'll have one basic building block and as many chairs as they want. I know that makes absolutely no sense, but hey, it's a cartoon video game. What do you want? All right, so now we got one more toy that we need to adjust and we need to make active, and that over here is the storefront. Now we're going to bring this up, and this is the toy that controls what the player is allowed to buy in the game. So we set up the economy. Now we need to tell the game, okay, once the player gets some money, hey, these are the items that they can buy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this. Copy items from Inventory Manager. That means that the store would only have available to buy the same things that are already set up in the Inventory Manager. Just a moment ago, we set up the Inventory Manager to allow to start the player with, that one basic building block and a bunch of chairs. So if we selected this option, the store automatically will only have the same options, chairs and building blocks. We don't want that. We want to do manage items for sale, which is the way we control every aspect of what's being sold through the store. So we're going to do manage items for sale. We're going to add new. And in this case, we're going to allow the player to buy that bridge piece that they need to help Mr. Toad out. So the bridges are now under a different category. I think they're under platforming toys now. I believe they used to be under decorations, believe it or not. I think they're under platforming. There we go. I think we need a large bridge in order to cross that gap. So we're going to add that bridge. Now, if we back out of here and look at the bridge itself, you see that there's a 10 next to it. That's the price. And as you can see, we now have a ability to adjust the price. So we'll bring that up. And as you can see, it goes from 0, and once again, it will go all the way up to 500. But again, in increments of 10. This is why you have to keep in mind whenever you're setting up economy, everything, whether you buy or give the player economy, is in increments of 10. But the enemies will only drop 1 of that economy, in this case gold coins. So again, I know I keep harping on that, but I'm just trying to stress, keep that in mind. I don't want to see anyone make a toy box with this great economy, all these fun, elaborate setups, and then the player just gets frustrated because they can't afford to buy the things that they need to complete the game. So just keep that in mind. So we'll leave the item cost at 0. 0 at 10. So now when the player goes to buy the item from the store, it's going to cost them 10 gold coins to buy it. Now, here's a catch. Not only does it cost 10 gold coins to buy, but you actually need to pay 10 gold coins, the same price. You need to pay the price of the bridge twice. Once to buy it, and once to place it in the world. I'm not sure why that's set up that way. It seems kind of, I don't know. I don't want to use a derogatory term here, but I just don't care for it personally. That's just my own personal opinion. Nothing to do with, I love the game, but it's just my personal opinion. I don't like the idea of having to buy the item and then pay for it a second time to put it in the world. So again, this brings back to be careful how much money you charge for items and how much money you give the player, and make it so the player can get the money without going through a bunch of grinding. This isn't some type of MMO where we want to spend all day trying to grind enemies. So just, again, keep all that in mind. Alright, so now we set that up, and that is pretty much it. Now we need to actually activate all of our toys and get this whole entire party started. Real quick, what we'll do here is, well, since we're right here anyway, we're going to make a connection from the switch, new logic connection, stepped on, player, any, to our storefront, so we can activate the storefront. And we'll come over here and we'll say, open shopping menu for host. And that allows the person that's buying the items that allows the player to buy the items. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and now we need to activate all these toys. Now again, you can use a level starter to do all this. So when the player first enters the level starter will kick off, it'll activate all these toys, and that's it. Instead of doing that, we're just going to use a switch, because this is just an example, a tutorial, and then that way if something goes wrong, we can delete the switch and try again, instead of having to worry about the level starter. So what we're going to do here is we're going to bring out a switch. I know it's called trigger. I call it a switch. You step on a switch. It's one of my little quirks, I guess. Here we go. We'll go over here. We'll find a switch, trigger, switch, pressure plate. Take your pick, and we'll put it right down. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the connections. New logic connection, stepped on, player, any, and first thing we'll do is we'll activate the money manager. Next thing we'll do is new logic connection, stepped on, player, any, and we will activate our loot drop manager. And we'll do it again for the inventory manager and for the storefront. There's our inventory manager out of the way, and one more for the storefront. Uh-oh. There we go. And we'll go connect our storefront. I don't think I can make it from here. Can I target it? Can I target it? No! The little stand here is blocking the way. There we go. And we'll target our storefront and we'll activate. So once we step on that one switch, everything will activate off, and then we can use the game as is. So let's see if this all works. We're going to actually make a quick save. That way we don't accidentally do anything wrong here. Alright, let's put away the wand. And let's save the game real quick. And that's it. Now comes the scary part. Let's see if all this works. Cross your fingers, folks. Alright, so here we go. We're going to step on the switch and we should activate all of our economy. Well, so far so good. Oh, and I even got a feat. Shopkeeping. Hey, how you like that? And taking inventory. Ooh, what kind of concept art do we unlock? I'm not sure what that is. I guess that's for the canyon. And I'm not sure what that last thing was. I'll have to look at it later. Okay, so Donald's happy. So am I. I love feats. Alright, so we unlocked those 2 feats. But anyway, more importantly, we activated our economy. If you could look up there next to Donald's bar up in the top left, you see we now have a little bar with a gold coin and 10. Because if you remember, we set up the gold coin as our economy, and we gave the player 10 to start with. Now, let's bring up our inventory and see if that worked. Now, we set it up to where we have infinite amount of chairs and 1 block. So when we bring this up, that's all we should see in our inventory. And sure enough, there's your chair at 99. And if you go down the basic building blocks, there's a square 1. So as you can see, it worked quite well. 9,999 and 1 square block. So far, so good. Now, let's go trigger off all this quest line for building Mr. Toad's bridge, and let's go see if the enemies will drop the loot that we want, and then let's see if we can buy the bridge and place the bridge piece. Oh no, the bridge is out. It could be fixed, but the workers are on strike. If they won't fix it, maybe they might sell you the supplies to do the job. And we got a little camera scene showing the workers standing there. And that worked out pretty well. Now let's go over here and talk to the workers. And again, that's just a little nice way to, besides having text, try to remember to use something like camera cuts to give the player a visual clue of where to go. In this case, the player now knows, hey, okay, in order to buy the bridge piece, we need to walk over here and talk to the workers. So we'll go over here. If you want to repair the bridge, you'll need to bring us 10 gold coins to buy the supplies. No cake, no work. No idea why I put that in there. I thought it was funny. We could set up the economy as cake. You also need to pay the tax of 10 gold coins to place the bridge. Nothing is free, sonny boy. And see our brother over there when you have enough coins. And now we give the player a visual clue of where the storefront is. And that's it. Now, if you notice there in the text creator, I added in, you have to pay a tax of 10 gold coins to place it. This way the player knows not only do they need 10 gold coins to buy it, but they need 10 gold coins to place it. Because they might not, pardon me, they might not know, that that's how this works. Alright, so let's go over here and let's go see if we can get some coins from the enemy. We have 10, but if you remember, we're going to need 10 to buy it and then 10 to place it. So let's step on the switch and let's get some Beagle Boys out here. There we go, and let's try to get some coins. See what happens. And there's 1 gold coin. Ow. And, yeah, there's another one. Just didn't see if he walked on it over too quickly. And that time he didn't drop a gold coin. So apparently there is a chance for them to just drop nothing. And let's let him get off that switch so we don't activate more enemies. Come here, buddy. And there we go, we got another gold coin. We have yet to see the health capsule yet, so let's bring him out again. Pardon me, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit under the weather. You might have heard it on one of my previous tutorials. I already talked fast enough as it is, but then if you add in, there's the health capsule. Then if you add in the fact that, my voice is getting a little bad, not a good combination. There's another coin. And there's another one. So we're up to 15. Hopefully we'll knock a few more of these guys out and we'll get 5 more in order to go. I should have probably made 10 enemies here. Oh, that's okay. You get to see Donald fight, which is always fun. Donald has really become one of my favorite characters. If he could only fly, he'd be perfect. And why am I not seeing any coins? There we go. Oh, a health capsule. We didn't need that. If this continues to take a while, I might make a quick cut and come back so you don't have to sit here and watch this. Ow. Stop it. Oh, a health capsule again. We should have lowered that percentage, apparently. There's a coin. 3 more. Oh my. I'm starting to feel just about like Donald there with not getting these coins. Must feel like I'm playing an MMO. Da-da-da-da. 2 more. We can do it. Oh, and we get a thing. Here, let's activate Donald's special mode. Let's make this quicker. And we get health capsules. Do you believe that? Alright, so now we are learning together here that we should definitely lower the chance of health capsules dropping. Oh my. Let's bring this out one more time. Now this is actually kind of like this, because this gets to show us together how this may work or may not work. There we go, one more and we should be good. And a health capsule again. Wow, do I feel like I'm playing an MMO. Oh my goodness, another health capsule. There we go, we got 20. That wasn't too painful. Alright, so off we go. So again, this is another reason why I stress how much you charge for items. Alright, let's go over here and let's hope the storefront works. Cross your fingers, folks. Even Dopey's over there shaking his head. He's not so sure this is going to work. Alright, we'll bring it up. When we see we have choose items, and we have our bridge here. We already have items up there. And that's the top. Again, sorry, pardon me. The top box is what we already have in our inventory. The bottom one is what we can buy. So we have 20 gold coins. Let's select it. Now we have 10 and we have a bridge in our inventory. Hot dog. It worked. Alright, so now we still have 10 gold coins to spend to put the bridge out. So we'll go over here. And now we need to... Oh, there we go. There's our bridge. And as you can see, it costs us 10 gold coins to place. That's why the number 10 is there. We don't have 10 bridges. We only have... It costs... That's the cost, the 10. Alright, so let's place it. And now we should see that our economy, our money that we have, 10, should go down to 0. So we'll place it. And there you go. That is it. And as you can see now, I'm pushing around on the stick. We cannot bring out any more coins. And there you go. We're down to 0. So now if we bring this back up, you'll see that we cannot place it. There's not we have nothing to pay for it. Now the chairs we can place because we have 999 of those. So let's give Mr. Toad a chair near his porch. You can see that works just fine. Now I know it says infinite and you see 9,999. I highly unlikely you'll need more than that. And let's see. Oops. Let's go down to our square block. And as you can see, we have one of those. We can place that. But now we have 0, so we no longer can place that either. Now since we started with these items, there's no cost to them. So we can put down as many chairs. We can put down 9,998 chairs at this point. But we only started one block. That's all we can place down at this point. But as you can see, that was it. We created it. Now, of course, we could have taken this much further and had it so once the bridge was placed, we could have made it so Mr. Toad would walk across the bridge along with us. And we would escort him to his house. We get, a reward, have a chest, or have something spawn, what have you. But this was what we were doing for demonstration purposes. But there you go. We set up our economy. We also set up the inventory manager and the storefront, and demonstrated how we could do this kind of in a quest line. The only thing that we noticed that was kind of flawed was the fact that the enemies weren't always dropping the coin, even though we had it set at 100, and even though we knocked down the health capsule down to 50, they still had were dropping quite a bit of health capsules. So again, make some adjustments, make some experiments before you finish off your level. That's one nice thing about having that switch over there instead of using a level starter. You could put another switch here to deactivate all these toys. That way we could go ahead and make our adjustments. We go ahead and say, okay, this obviously isn't working. Let's make some adjustments. Let's set the weights lower or higher. Let's make a few more adjustments, and we could have made this a little bit better. You know what I mean? But that's something you can experiment with on your own and get it set to exactly what you had envisioned in your mind. But that should wrap up this tutorial, and it didn't take me as long as I thought it would. I was actually, ain't gonna lie to you, I was actually expecting a few things to go wrong. Sometimes that happens. Nothing's ever as easy as it seems. Anyway, that's it for this video. As always, thank you very much for watching. I hope it helped, and I will see you next time. And what we'll do next time, who knows? There's so many toys to play with. We'll have to just figure it out and hopefully do something together. Alright, take care. Bye-bye.